Alan Butler with Rolling Ready, and on this episode of Project Power Wagon, it gets some King shocks courtesy of Thuren Suspension, and then we're gonna race this truck against a 2017 Ford Raptor. Here's what we've got going on today. A race between the stock 2017 Ford Raptor and of course, the modified Ram Power Wagon. Now, this isn't a stock to stock comparison because both these vehicles stock from the factory come with their own advantages. The Ram 2500 is a good all-around off-road workhorse. And the Ford Raptor has its advantage in being almost a purpose-built desert high-speed off-road runner. And when we thought about Project Power Wagon, we want to make this Power Wagon a jack of all trades, but also make it have some more advantage when it comes to high-speed desert off-roading, since I live out here in Southern California and I can't resist all this desert and I got to get out here and play. So that's what it's really going to be about. And so we've equipped the Power Wagon with Thuren Suspension supported by King shocks. Now for the Raptor, it comes stock from the factory with these badass Fox shocks with remote reservoirs, 3-inch diameter, and obviously there's tons of videos out there, tons of research, tons of driving that's been done with this Raptor, and it's a badass already right out of the factory. A great production truck if you want to get out there and start hitting the dunes. Now, Power Wagon, what we got going on? King shocks, 3 inches up front, 2.5 inches out back, remote reservoirs, and we don't know the travel numbers yet. We'll get those back later at the garage, but I'll post them down here for now, the measurements. And for the Ford Raptor, 13 inches of travel up front and 13.9 inches in the rear. The Power Wagon is equipped with Thuren's top-of-the-line suspension system, which includes a custom shock tune from Thuren. Thuren offers 6 different tunes for these King shocks, with stage 1 being the best for mostly on-road driving to gobble up street obstacles such as speed bumps, dips, and whatever else your local mall parking lot can throw at you. Each higher setting increases the shock's performance for high-speed off-roading, with stage 6 being a valve setting for those who off-road at race speeds. The Kings on Project Power Wagon are set right at the middle at Thuren's stage 3 valve setting. If you're not sure what setting you want on your rig, the team at Thuren is great at helping people find the best valve setting for their driving situation, such as fire roads, overlanding, and especially those who drive their rigs like Hoonigans. We've broke this race up into 4 sections, with each section highlighting certain attributes of each truck's suspension and their overall driving dynamics. The first section will focus on high-speed off-road driving in several turns as the trucks negotiate their way through a twisty desert wash, ending with a bit of rock crawling. The second section will focus on each truck's ability to negotiate high-speed driving on the sand and maybe some jumping. The third section will really put a strain on each truck's suspension as we push them as fast as we can through a long series of choppy whoops with the hope of keeping the trucks right side up throughout the duration of the course. The fourth section will involve a dry lake bed, but you'll have to stick around to see how we decide to run it. Now it's time to throw some sand around and warm up these shocks. About ready to kick off the very first race with the Ford Raptor being driven by the owner, Jer. He's owned it for about 1.5 years. And then I'll follow in the Power Wagon. We're gonna go individually, so one truck at a time. This is gonna be raced in 4 different sections. Each section has a little bit different driving dynamics, and each section is gonna be timed all on its own. And then we're gonna be able to average all the times to see which truck did better overall. And then with all the individual segments, we'll be able to figure out which truck did a little bit better in one segment versus another, because like I said, each segment offers a little bit different driving dynamics. So that's how we're gonna rock with it. Let's get started. All right, Jared, you ready?
I'm ready.
Segment number 1. I got the trusty iPhone timer, and we're gonna kick it off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, that's awesome. Oh, love it. That sound is so nice. This thing is fast. This is gonna be a task in the Power Wagon, I'll tell you what. This thing has just got so much get up and go. It just gets on the gas and starts. Holy crap. Whoa. So this section is just some twisties through this wash here up to the rocks. Now this one doesn't have as much ground clearance as the Power Wagon does, so we're gonna take it nice and easy. Almost to the finish line. Okay, I gotta pay attention now. Stopping. Power Wagon, segment 1, gonna try its very best to keep up with that Raptor. That Raptor sure was planted and it moves fast. Now this Power Wagon, no doubt, is a hell of a lot heavier, and it don't have that eco boost. It doesn't have the get up and go that that thing does. So let's see if these King shocks give us any bit of advantage so that when I am going fast, I can stay going as fast as I need to for as long as possible. That's already getting rough. I pop it full drive. Okay, first turn coming up. Oh, a lot more body roll than that Raptor. On it now, doing good. Next turn. Don't hit the side. Yeah. Nice. All right, come on, bud. Let's go. Press the gas and it takes like a second for it to go. Oh, you want me to go faster? My throttle response isn't quite there. Over. That was pretty easy. No bumping, no grinding. Here we go to the finish. Okay, coming up to segment 2. This is going to be the dunes and a jump. So let's see how much air we can get in this Raptor without breaking it. Hopefully it doesn't break. 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're off. All right, coming up the dune. Dunes, we lost the camera for a second, going back down. Oh boy, down and around. This Raptor's going fast. Okay. All right, round the big pile of trash and to the finish. Power Wagon, stage 2 in the dunes. Here we go. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're off. Head towards the jump first and then up into the dunes, a little hill climb, down and around to the finish. Easy landing. Those, I'll tell you what, that's where the Kings came in right there, was on that freaking jump, man. They just soaked that up, no problem. All right, hill climb time. All the way up to the top. So far. Around the big pile of shit. Here we go. And out to the yeah! 105.27. All right. Segment 3 in the Ford Raptor. What's significant about segment 3 is that there's a lot of whoops in here. So this is really going to put these Fox shocks to the test. Whoops, coming up. Dude, this truck is just money. Big bumps. Oh! Gotta stay on the outside turn. A little smoother. Coming down the hill. This thing just danced over those whoops, man. Holy. Listen, this is Jared. Jared doesn't give a crap. He just mobs it coming up to the end here. 55-12. Oh my God. Oh. Power Wagon, segment 3. Lots of whoops, and that Ford Raptor, was it 55 seconds?
55 seconds.
Hauling the mail. Let's see what the solid axle Power Wagon can do in all of its heft. So we'll see. Here we go. It's like way slower starting out, and then she gets going.
Is it go or what you did?
Oh yeah, she doesn't like to stop either. The gas just went away. The patty going up. Okay, phone's on the ground. If we're still recording, it's because we're hauling in half. I don't mind if I'm not even pressing brakes anymore and try to give you something good here. Car, what was the time?
57:18.
57:18. I apologize for the foul language. Wow. We're a bucking bronco out there. Bucking bronco.
8 seconds.
We did all 3 segments. Now we're here at the last one. And it's be kind of a treat because for the first 3, we did it one at a time. And this time we're gonna go head-to-head race out here on the dry lake bed. And so far, what are your thoughts on this whole experience?
Well, I'll tell you, it's been pretty eye-opening. I will say that. I'm actually impressed with the way this thing's handled. I mean, the times, they're not that far off for as big a truck this is, and you know, it trying to get around this track and some of these little spots. You know, it's pretty impressive.
It's hustling, huh?
Yeah, I mean, through the bumps and everything. I mean, you made it work.
Yep.
And you know, like I said, the times will reflect. So,
right.
Like I said, I mean, I'm a Ford guy through and through, but you know, like I said, I'm pretty impressed.
That's pretty good coming from a Ford guy. And you know what? This is actually my first experience being in a Ford Raptor and running it in there with you, and it is badass. So I have my thoughts on how this is going to end up, but basically we're going to be out on the open desert doing a couple turns, and we're going to come back, and you have a lighter truck. It's lower, it's wider. You've got a 10-speed transmission. You got 450 horsepower out of this EcoBoost motor and 510 foot-pounds of torque. I'm pushing this truck. It's heavy. It's got that 6.4 liter Hemi, 410 horsepower, 428 foot-pounds of torque, 6-speed transmission, 410 gears, but it's tall. It's now pushing big old 37. So like I said, I have my thoughts on how this is gonna end, but it's gonna be a hell of a time. So let's fire up these engines and get started, brother. Okay, goodbye. That's going to be it for this episode of Project Power Wagon. I hope you had a blast watching it, because really we had a hell of a good time making this video and doing this comparison. Now, what it really came down to, what did the numbers come out at? Well, for the first section, the Power Wagon was only about 3.5 seconds behind. Remember, that's the twisty turns through the open desert, and then a little bit of rock crawling, and then on the throttle and out. Again, the Power Wagon was just behind the Raptor at 3.5 seconds. Now the second part, going into the dunes, launching into the dunes with that jump, up the hill, down and around, and back it over again. The Power Wagon that time was 4.5 seconds slower than the Ford Raptor. And then the third one, where we're going across, and I think this one's very telling because it was all whoops almost the entire way. And both the Ford Raptor and me, we hammered through the entire time. And really the truck did quite well, being only just a little over 2 seconds behind the Ford Raptor. These big old King shocks, I think, did exceptionally well on all those whoops and keeping this big old beast planted and on the ground as I screamed across the desert. And of course, the last test was the head-to-head across this open dry lake bed, and admittedly, I got beat pretty bad by this Ford Raptor. But this really just tells you the whole comprehensive point of view of this Power Wagon video, right? All of Project Power Wagon is to make it a jack of all trades. I want the truck to be really good up in the rocks, and it is. I want to be able to tow with it, and I can tow with it. I tow my 9,000 pound fifth wheel, and at the same time I can disconnect it and I can just haul ass across the desert, hit the whoops, hit the jumps, hook it up, and head home. So that's what it's all about with Project Power Wagon. And these King shocks, I can really tell you, I can feel quite a bit of difference from the original Thuren video we did, where I was starting to get a little bit of spring rebound. That's now gone away, and I can take some much harder hits. So I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Jer for letting us use this 2017 Ford Raptor. It is an amazing truck. It's badass. It's basically the sports car you can get from the factory, but for the dirt. It's an amazing truck, and if you want one, you can afford one, I definitely recommend going for a test drive in one of these and trying to get out in the dirt, because they are badass. And again, with this Power Wagon, Project Power Wagon is scooting right along. We're having a hell of a time watching it. Make sure you check out our other videos. Make sure you check us out at rollingready.com, on Instagram and Facebook. You can pick up one of these awesome shirts to support us. I'm Alan Butler. Thanks for watching.